Let's say your car breaks down in your phone days. How can you use old technology to save yourself from this odd situation? When I say old technology, I am of course talking about the compass and how to use it. There are 3 easy steps in using a compass. The first is to dial a bearing, the second is to plug it in, and the third is to align the needle. Allow me to explain. Using a compass can be way more useful than you'd think. The first step is basically figuring out where you want to go to. So let's say this is me, and I want to go to 250 degrees on my compass here. So what you want to do is rotate this outer circle so that my number 250 aligns with this arrow called the DOT arrow, or direction of travel arrow. And then make sure to keep in mind when you do this that each one of these little notches actually represents 2 degrees, not 1 degree. Now that you've set up the bearings to the compass, it's time to plug it in. Step 2 of the process is plugging it in, which essentially means you take the compass and you put it here on your chest so that you are correctly aligned with the compass and it's facing the way you're facing. Make sure when you have a compass around that it's not stored or kept or even used near magnetic or metal surfaces. This could screw up the compass because, as you can see, I have a magnet here and it can screw up the compass pretty bad. It just instantly obeys the magnet. This is because the compass uses the Earth's magnetic field to function properly. Also, when you're using a compass, make sure that the compass is not tilted and is parallel to the ground. This is because if it's tilted, then the compass needle won't be able to move freely. Now that everything is set up, it's time to align the needle. This third and final step of using the compass is basically where the machine goes to work. This is when you want to turn so that the needle lines up with this smaller arrow with stripes on it. This is called the orienting arrow. So I'm just going to turn like so. So now that everything's lined up, you need to make sure that you're not using the white part of the arrow, because if you had the white part of the arrow in there, you'd end up going backwards, and we all know that's not good. So now that you're not lost, you gotta make sure to look out for landmarks and benchmarks as you move forward. There are mountains, rivers, valleys, fences, basically anything that's not moving. This is so that you are aware of your surroundings and you don't end up falling off a cliff or end up somewhere completely else. As you can see, the Charlie Brown moves forward and backwards and left and right, and for the most part the compass needle doesn't move at all. So you could be moving any which way, as long as you don't turn, and you'd end up being really lost. Now that you can go many places using this great old-fashioned piece of technology, you know that the compass is way more useful than you think. The first step was to dial in the bearing that you want to move to. The second step was to plug it in, or move it to this spot on your body. And the third step was to align the red part of the needle with the orienting arrow. Know that you can use this great old-fashioned piece of technology to get yourself out of any situation. Both you and Charlie Brown know where to go.